So over the last few years, we've all heard about the gun violence actually happening in the United States, in clubs, hospitals, schools, and even in churches. All places we consider relatively safe places. And I'm sure, just like the general population, when they think about guns, they think about the death and the crimes committed with guns. But no one really sees the counterpoint of when a firearm or a gun is actually used to help prevent or stop a crime. So pretty much what we brought me to this point is I have experienced in my lifetime where a gun was used to defend a life, and also with the incident in San Bernardino, it impacted me more of a personal note because I actually had a friend whose uncle was a victim of that crime. So it's kind of what brought me to talk about the subject. And what I'll be going over today is what the current policy, or what I'll be talking about is what the purpose of the revision of the concealed carry permit law in California should be. So I'll be going over the current policy, what the policy revision should be, and some instances where a firearm was actually benefited in stopping crime and saving a life. So for the current policy, in the last couple of years, California has actually fought to make it a constitutional right with coinciding with the Second Amendment of the right to bear arms shall not be infringed. And actually, this past year, it was a Ninth Court ruled in San Diego County where it actually went against it because it went more towards self-defense, or the right to bear arms isn't a basis for having a concealed carry. The basic policy right now is it's shall issue, not may issue. Or, sorry, it's may issue, not shall issue. So pretty much you have to have probable cause. So there's supposed to be either a history of violence, or much like my boss has, is he owns a business and he deals with cash, large amounts of cash, so it's more of a defense from theft. The way that it goes is, if a person tries to apply for a CCW, they have to apply to the county that they live in. If they live in an incorporated part of the county, if they live in the city permits, it has to be towards the city police department, and that's where the police chief has the final say. In counties, it's the sheriff that has the final say in appointing a permit. In the same sense, some of the cases where some counties just totally took out the option and gave it a no issue whatsoever. So kind of limiting the actual availability to a person who might have justifiable cause to not even have that option altogether. And usually the process can take up to anywhere from 6 to 18 months, depending on the county. It's varied from Riverside County going around a year to when Orange County was considering it, going to 18 months. So it's still a lengthy time before even anyone can even get an interview just to see if they can even actually get an actual permit. And I pulled that off of the Orange County Sheriff's Department.org website, which stated that. For part of my solution to the revision of what the policy should be is justifying it as a constitutional carry with the right to bear arms. I know it's a lot of conflicting points with, it states that a militia in the defensive state is the rights of people to bear arms and it should not be infringed. And that's where its interpretation is either against and towards it, stating it's either just for military purposes to defend, or if it's actually a person's actual right to defend themselves, and that's their own thing, so which is the big fight right now with the constitutional carry. Pretty much what the revisions would have courses that are established by county sheriff's departments that are approved that a resident of that county can apply for, and actually go through, and once they qualify with it, they can go through it. And a lot of it is actually qualifying with the firearms. In Riverside County, because I came from that county, they raised it from 3 firearms, they can have to 6 firearms. You have to qualify with all of those before you can have any of them listed on your CCW. So I still will say that we should implement that course and have it to where you have a biannual requalification with the firearms, so that way you can maintain your permit. Because obviously you don't want someone that's rusty and is going to probably be a hazard to have a firearm. Also, with that being said, it will still imply that a person passes a local background check to see that in the meantime, after they've gotten the last permit, that they're not committing crimes with, well, to do anything that could actually get their permits taken away. Part of it also for my revision is to lower it on the pretty much chain of command on who has the final say, not limiting it to just the captains or limiting it to the police chiefs or sheriffs, and actually limiting it to captains. There are a couple of tiers down on the chain of command of police departments, so it should actually make it a more timely manner to where we're not just giving one person individual that much of a task to appoint yes or no for their county. Now, I'm sure that some people might think that I'm biased on the opinion because I'm a veteran, but at the same time, I've seen people that shouldn't own a firearm whatsoever. So it is kind of the reason why I do have that there should be a due process to it. It's in Arizona, in Colorado, in Texas. Getting a CCW is probably just as easy, if not easier, than getting a driver's license. Because in Colorado, you can actually buy a firearm and have it on your CCW. At the same time you go in to get your driver's license, as long as you have even a temporary ID or temporary permit, you can buy a firearm and you can already carry it. So my justification is have some guidelines and have some restrictions or due process of what you need to do, so that way it's not just, oh look, here's a guy that just turned 21 and already has a firearm without having the actual any background to it. So it kind of brings me to the point of some instances where a firearm was used to actually help reduce or help stop a crime. So I got this off of the freethoughtproject.com website. It states June 16, 2 weeks after the mass shooting that happened in the Pulse nightclub in Florida, where one man killed 49 people and wounded 53 others. There was an incident outside of a club in South Carolina where a man got into a dispute with another person and started shooting into a crowd of people, wounding 4. One of the actual people that was injured had a CCW, and in the state of South Carolina, they do allow permit holders to carry it into bars and clubs. It's a debate of alcohol and firearms don't mix, but it's kind of still the responsibility of how you have a designated driver to still have a designated person that is responsible enough to carry the firearm. And it was pretty much the person that had the CCW drew his weapon and returned fire, hitting the other person, and actually hit him in the leg, and which stopped that crime from happening, and that person was later charged with 4 counts of attempted murder. In Oregon in 2014, a man who was kicked out of a nightclub came back 30 minutes later with a gun, wearing a mask, shot the bouncer who kicked him out, and started shooting others. Another bouncer who had his weapon permit was able to return fire, fatally shooting the man. No one was actually fatally shot, or no one was actually killed in that incident. It was luckily just wounded, and that came from buryingarms.com, which is a pro CCW website. And also, again, in South Carolina in May of 2015, a man got into a fire station filled with firemen and children. It was around 6:30 p.m. at nighttime, and he started shooting into the air. And he actually did for prolonged periods of time, pointing his firearm at others. For two people with CCWs, luckily were able to convince the man to put the gun down. And in that incident, no one was hurt whatsoever. So it pretty much brings me to the conclusion that it's not, from my perspective, it's not necessarily a firearm's danger, it's the person that utilizes it. It's, in Ohio, the cop that shot the guy was using a car and a knife. If you need to do crime, it'll still happen. But basically, with me summing it up, the only thing for evil to prevail is for a good man to do nothing. Thank you.
Dolly's not here, so I'll just offer my comments. The opening's okay. There's a good preview of what the supporting points are going to be. I did think that your statement of purpose was a little complicated and awkward as it was phrased. The examples of people who might need a CCW in California, you've got your boss as an illustration. The claim about there isn't really, that the sheriffs have adopted a no-issue policy in many of the counties in California. I think you need some data on that, some authority that identifies that that is a true statement, an accurate statement. I do think that you need to get to the solution examples a little bit earlier so that we know why it is that we want to have these kinds of policies. I do think that you've got a very basic motivated sequence structure here, so it's okay. The transitions could be a little bit smoother. I could hear you. It's very mechanical the way that you were citing your sources, and you want to get to be a little bit more fluent in doing that. Your delivery is, I think, more dry than you want it to be. I think you need a little bit of energy here and there. You need more variety in your voice. You need to change the volume of your voice and put in some emphasis here and there. But you're fairly fluid while you're speaking, and you have good eye contact. All right, thank you.